Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. There we go. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rugby Clinic, Hoodco Roofing, hoodcoroofing.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, y'all. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Of course, Tigers won on Saturday. Jayden had a great game. Saints didn't play on Sunday. Tampa lost. Carolina lost. So, Saints with they're back at it this week, and with a win Sunday in Atlanta would take a commanding division lead. So let's go get it. Let's go beat Atlanta and get it. If you notice the description there on the show today, Jaden Daniels, his Heisman odds lead continues to grow, which is pretty remarkable to see. He, after the game on Saturday night, we saw him get a bump all the way up to 2. By Sunday morning, he had overtaken Bo Nix on several of the sports books, and as the day went along Sunday, his lead just continued to grow at DraftKings, at Caesars, at FanDuel. BetMGM still had Bo Nix as a slight favorite. So it does really depend on where you lay your money. As Otter always says, shop around. But so if you think Jayden is going to win it, then you can still get better odds on Jayden at something like Bound to win. So if he's minus 120, for example, let me just look up DraftKings, for example, for those that don't know. So I know DraftKings has Jaden Daniels as the favorite. So they have Jayden at minus 125 and Bo Nix is at plus 150. So basically for Jayden, you'd have to bet $125 to win 100. For Bo Nix, if you bet 100, you'd win 150 if he won it. So Jayden's lead is growing on all these other sports books. So pretty incredible, man. And I know there's some people who didn't like the leaving Jayden in with a big lead. I don't care, because you have one opportunity in your life to win a Heisman Trophy. And a Heisman Trophy means immortality. You are remembered forever as a Heisman Trophy winner. The doors that open, the opportunities that present forever as a Heisman Trophy winner are immeasurable and can't be matched. So if you have an opportunity to put Jayden out there for a few more series against Georgia State, and it gets him over 1,000 yards rushing and gets him a few more touchdowns, okay, do it. There was I'm probably gonna tell this story on air today on AFR. I remember, you all will remember this. There's a pitcher named Armando Galarraga. And Armando Galarraga was an average big league pitcher, but an average big league pitcher. And in 2009, no, not 9. What year was this? Armando Galarraga. Armando Galarraga was 1 out away from a perfect game. And a perfect game's only been done, it's been done less than 30 times in the history of Major League. It was 2010. At the time, there were 20 perfect games. He was trying to become the 21st pitcher to throw a perfect game. And he gets the first 26 batters out, and then there's a tapper. He's covering first base. He catches the ball, taps, and Jim Joyce was the first base ump, and they ruled the runner safe. Now, there was no review at the time. And after further review, he was out. So Armando Galarraga threw a perfect game, but Jim Joyce blew the call at first base. And there was all this stuff, where people, those, it was a heartfelt story. The next day, I know Jim Joyce was the home plate ump, and Armando Galarraga brought out the lineup card, and they hugged, and it was like, it was a very touching story. Basically like it was a human error, and there was nothing you could do about it. Baseball could have overturned it, and they did whatever. But the point is, Armando Galarraga had a chance to go down in history as one of only 20, at the time, 21 people ever to throw a perfect game, and they blew it. And that cost him for the rest of his life. So, yeah, man, if you're Jaden Daniels and you have an opportunity to stat pad, and you need your athletic department, your creative team to keep pushing out stats and push it, yes, do it. LSU's been playing football for 130 years. They've got 2 Heisman winners. You have a chance to get another one, do it. Don't let that Heisman ceremony come and go and wonder, could we have done more? Do everything. So, but his lead continues to grow. So, okay, let's say some good morning. Y'all fire away. Kenneth Westbrook, good morning. Eric Hart, just ran into your dad. I could use his positive energy every single morning. I'm telling y'all, man, my dad is one of the most positive people you ever meet in your life. That's just true. I remember as a kid, we were like, I still have some of these books on my shelves, like the books that we had to read. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Power of the Subconscious Mind. What else do we read? I got a lot of them. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like all those things, those very, all the Zig Ziglar, like all those books, positive thinking mindset books, like we read all those as kids. I was programmed that way. So, what you say is what you get. What else do you have there? Who you are when no one's looking. All these books are on my shelf, But yeah, mindset matters, man. Kelly Rose, Bo Smith, Lance Richard. Sadly, I think Nix will win it if he wins out, just because he'll have an extra game over JD5. There's a real chance of that, Lance. I think if Bo Nix this week goes and has a monster game against Oregon State and they win, then he goes to the Pac-12 championship game, has a monster game there as well, then yeah, I agree with you. I think he will win it. But I continue to be amazed that even though I'm amazed that Bo Nix just had a 6-touchdown game, and Jaden Daniels played Georgia State, and Jayden overtook him, which tells you that the Heisman voters are very much being swayed by the incredible nature of Jaden Daniels' season. And that's to say, which we all understand, if you were to take Jaden Daniels off of LSU, this team is bad. If you were to take Bo Nix off of Oregon, they're still a really good football team. That's not to say Bo Nix isn't having a great year. He is. But it's just dramatically different. Dale Broussard could have got Jayden at plus 2,400 in April. He probably could have gotten better odds than that as the offseason went along. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, brother. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's why, Dale, I never put stock into people who tell me, man, I said or I picked. Or I'm like, did you put money on it? Knock on you, Dale. It's just a general thesis. But man, I said, I picked. I've been telling people, I don't care. Care what you've been telling people. Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is? No. Okay. That's not a you thing, Dale. You just brought up the odds. That's what's reminding me of that. Michael Thacker, born in Scone. Is there a better than bad chance we lose some main defensive guys like Perkins to the portal? Yeah, you're going to lose players to the portal. Every year, every team's going to lose players to the portal. Do you lose Perkins? I don't know. You almost lost Perkins last year, and they ponied up and got him NIL money and kept him. You lost, who's the kid? The other linebacker that went to Auburn. They loved him too. What was that kid's name? I forgot. Had the neck injury. Anyway, they loved him. Could have used him this year. But yeah, you're going to lose good players to the portal, and you're going to get good players out of the portal. Weston Weaver, Wendell Norman, Tim Gotro, Will Lutz was 5 for 5 with a long of 52 last night. Just saying, saw it. Good game for Will Lutz. awful game for Denver's offense. And speaking as someone who did bet the over last night, I'm very bitter that Denver couldn't convert any of those red zone opportunities. Ugh. Chewalt1, good morning. Jason H, top of the morning to you and the family. Hashtag Team Drew, hashtag Shoe Game. And by the way, I do know what Tim's saying because he's pointing out you, as the Saints, you cut Will Lutz to keep Blake Groupie, and Will Lutz was really good last night. And you made the wrong choice. And keeping Blake Groupie. Par for the course with this Saints organization. Tiger Diver, good morning. Thanks for the bets on Saturday. Don't thank me for that, brother. Saturday, that was, I think, Phil's second losing weekend of the year. I think so. In 11 weeks, we've had 8 winning weeks, now 2 losing weeks, and 1 push. So we're way up for the year. But this, if you were just joining for Phil's picks this past weekend, you picked a bad weekend to jump on board, unfortunately. Daniel Holden, good morning, Matt. I know this isn't football related. I'm headed to North Carolina. Was wondering if you knew anything I should check out. You would probably have to be a little more specific about North Carolina, Daniel. Like, where are you going in North Carolina? You know what I mean? If I knew where you're going in North Carolina, might be able to help. People commenting might be able to help. Brett, and that's fine. Fire away with whatever you got. I always say I don't care. It doesn't have to be sports related. Fire away. Brett DeGrow, Wacky Chris, Mike the Tiger. At least we're not Florida. If this team had last year's DBs, they'd win it all. Yeah, if you had last year's defense, you'd certainly be a playoff team. I think you still have real issues on your interior. I think you're overlooking the importance of Ali Gay, B.J. Ojolari, Micah Baskerville in your front 7. But, yeah. Josh DeVilliers, morning, Matt. Please quiet all these talks about BK and A&M. I haven't heard any talks about BK and A&M. Like, who is saying that? I literally haven't heard a single reputable person say that. Like, if you have something, please send me a link or something if you have something credible, but I literally not heard a single person. I had a long conversation with a buddy who covers A&M yesterday, and that wasn't even any part of the conversation. Abner Neal, morning, Matt. Jayden for Heisman. James McKinney, Jude Sansing, good morning. Could I suggest bringing John Canzano on the show to defend himself? Jude, so for those who don't know, John Canzano, I'll address that, and I'll probably talk about it today on air. John Canzano is, he does radio and media he's based out of Portland. And I got to know John a little bit back in 2011 when LSU played Oregon. We did a lot of reciprocal radio. John, and he's on 3. He was, I don't know if it's still his same time. He does a show called The Bald-Faced Truth. He's a bald guy like me. Anyway, John was 3 to 6 Pacific. I was 3 to 6 Central. And so basically our shows overlapped by an hour. So he would come on with me and I'd go on with him. John tweeted yesterday, and John's very good, by the way. I mean, he's got 77,000 Twitter followers. So he is statewide in Oregon, still from 3 to 6 p.m. He used to write for OregonLive.com. I think he started his own website where he writes now, but he still does statewide radio. He's a Heisman voter. Again, John is credible and very good. John tweeted yesterday, stop with the Jaden Daniels Heisman hype. He'd hold a clipboard at both Oregon and Washington. And so that tweet now has been viewed 2.3 million times. It got a tremendous amount of backlash. I did reply to John. I didn't expect John to reply to me, which to the best of my knowledge, he didn't, although my reply has been viewed 250,000 times. I put some bullet points. I said, number one, John is very good at what he does. And he is, like, credible. He is someone who is sort of at the forefront of their news cycle. He does statewide radio. Like, he's very good. Like, that's not just some wackadoo blogger who just threw something out there. Like, the reason it gained a lot of steam is because John's very good. He's a Heisman voter. I said, John is very good at what he does. Number two, Penix and Nix are great players having terrific seasons worthy of Heisman consideration. They are. They're great players. Their teams are in the top 5 of the country. Washington's undefeated. Oregon has one loss to Washington. Bo Nix is having a great year. They're both having great seasons. Penix is leading the country in passing yards. Bo Nix has played great this year. I put number 3, Daniels is objectively having the best season of any college player in football. This isn't debatable. And it's not. Jaden Daniels is accounted for more yards, more touchdowns. He leads the country in yards per carry. He leads the country in yards per attempt. Like, objectively, Jaden Daniels is having the best season, objectively. So objective would be stats, something that is not debatable. Subjectively, you could argue for Nix or Penix, and that's fine. A lot of people will. So I noted regional bias has always existed in Heisman voting, which is why the Heisman Trust divides the votes regionally to mitigate impact, which is true. Like, people on the West Coast are more likely to vote for a West Coast candidate. People in the South are more likely to vote for a candidate in the SEC. It's the nature of it because you see those players more and you tend to favor your region more. That's why they divide the votes evenly. So to eliminate the possibility of regional bias, you don't want all the votes clustered in the Northeast, for example. And my opinion is that media covering one school should not vote because of this bias. People covering the sport as a whole should decide. It's my opinion that national media should vote, not beat writers, especially for 2 reasons. Number 1, bias. Number 2 is, or perceived bias. Number 2 is when you're a beat writer at one school, you're not watching all of college football on a Saturday. You might be following it in a sort of, wide but not, a deep way. But when you're covering your team, like LSU plays at 7, you're probably at the stadium at 5, and you don't leave the stadium until 1. So you probably saw the 11 a.m. games, but you started going to the stadium for the afternoon games. You missed the ball afternoon games, saw none of the evening games. So that's a real challenge for beat writers. And then I also said it is possible to praise Nix and Penix without minimizing Daniels. Minimizing Daniels would suggest you haven't seen him play, which as a voter harms credibility, and I believe that. And then I noted Daniels is the betting favorite to win the award, so John's wrong, which he is wrong. But it's one thing if John had tweeted, Jaden Daniels is having a terrific season, but you can't deny what Bo Nix has done as the quarterback or Michael Penix of teams in the top 5 that are having great seasons, pushing their team toward the playoffs. Daniels is on a 3-loss team. Okay. There's a lot of Heisman voters that are going to feel that way. There's a lot of people that are going to vote for Bo Nix and Michael Penix, and it's hard to argue against them because they're great players on great teams, and we see that happen all the time in Heisman years. It's just that this happens to be a year where you have a player who is lapping the field in all of these statistical categories. So it's not so much that John is stumping for Nix or Penix. It's that in so doing, he took a shot at Jaden Daniels. Because if I were actually going to point it further to say Jaden Daniels would be holding a clipboard at Washington or Oregon, okay, well, Nix or Penix would be holding a clipboard at LSU. Because if either one of them transferred to Baton Rouge, they're not taking the job from Jaden Daniels. So what are we talking about? It was just a very bad look for a guy that is a Heisman voter. It's the kind of thing that I would expect from like a fan popping off on Twitter, like his fans are like John with each other on Twitter. It's not something you'd expect from a Heisman voter. That's the disappointing part. Taz, I don't know if you spoke on this, but the A&M's true about Brian Kelly to Texas A&M. I have no idea who. Like, you're the second person to bring that up. I have not heard that from a soul. Who is saying that? Saturday Down South, 2 days ago, Andrew Wilson. Billy Lucci broke the news. Lucci brought up a potential move for Kelly. Was he joking? Oh, about Lucci said Kelly might pursue the Michigan job if it comes open. I heard that Lucci was just joking. Like, he said that tongue in cheek. I think Hester told me. Whatever. Or no, T-Bob said that. T-Bob said that that Lucci said it tongue in cheek. Whatever. Brian Kelly's not leaving LSU. Oh, I mean, I would be. You never say never, but I would be stunned. There's no reason that would make sense. All right, a couple more minutes here. Please smash that like button if you're just jumping aboard. Brian Wynn, good morning. Vernell Thomas, good morning. I'm gonna keep saying this every day on your show until it comes true. Jaden Daniels will be a New Orleans Saints quarterback. Okay. Larry Garner, Ronnie Dugas, Brian Wynn, Matt, any insight you can offer to clear up the saga that's become women's basketball at LSU? No, can't offer any insight. Sorry. Louis Malhoy, good morning, Matt. I guess Jayden needs to catch a TD on Saturday. They were trying to throw him one. They tried. So the Brian Thomas fumble, if you go back and watch it, it was LSU's second possession. This was after they reviewed the ineligible downfield on Mason Taylor, and overturned it. So LSU's got first and goal at the 8, and Jayden and Brian Thomas kind of fumbled the handoff. So Brian Thomas is on the right side of the line coming this way, and Neighbors is coming from the left, back right. And if you go back and watch it, Brian Thomas is taking the handoff. He's going to give it to Malik. Jayden leaks out. Malik was going to throw a touchdown to Jaden Daniels, 100%. That's what that was. So they tried, and Brian Thomas fumbled the handoff from Jayden. But anyway, but he almost did catch a touchdown pass. Joe Parker, hope Jayden is given a fair chance at the Heisman. Fair chance? I mean, he's the betting favorite right now. I mean, like if Bo Nix goes out the next 2 weeks and throws for 400 yards against Oregon State and then goes to the Pac-12 championship game and puts up 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and they beat Washington, he's probably going to win it. And it's hard to argue against that. I mean, it's an individual award. Yes, Jayden's been the most outstanding player. He's put up the best numbers. He's been unstoppable, all that stuff. But I also understand why voters pick guys who are on winning teams and are great players. Now, it would be great if Oregon State upset Oregon this week and Bo Nix threw for 130 yards and a touchdown and 3 picks. If old bad Bo would show up, that'd be great, because if that happened, then Jayden's a lock. We'll see. But the other part of it, too, is Jayden's got to go play well this weekend. You got Texas A&M. It's a good defense that you're going to face. You're going to have to go out and win this game at 11 a.m. and do it convincingly. Jayden's got to keep being Superman. Jayden can't go out this weekend and LSU lose to A&M, or LSU, win 21-17 and Jayden runs for 17 yards and throws for $124. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go out and do it this weekend. Brad David, why don't they wait to give the Heisman until after the national championship and bowl games? None of the national awards are given out after bowl games. They're all given out after the regular season. Cozy Cotters, months ago, I bet on Jayden to win the Heisman. Turns out I bet on him to get picked first overall. You think there's a chance? Probably not. I mean, Caleb Williams, Drake May they're pretty much locked in there at 1. I mean, we've seen strange things happen. Guys rocket up draft boards, and it just takes one team to fall in love with you, so maybe, but not likely. Let's see, Deborah Coward, good morning. Who's that? All right, hang on. We do a couple more here. Cajun Country, Biltmore Estate, American Castle, North Carolina. Yeah, so if you're going to North Carolina, that's a place to see. Oh, so Dan, you're going to the Charlotte area. Look, Charlotte, I don't know if you're into craft beer. Charlotte has micro brews everywhere. Charlotte's beautiful. Went there a few years ago for Erica's cousin's wedding. It was beautiful. Really enjoyed it. Cody Kebido, morning, Matt. Is it safe to assume that Chestnut and Harris are going back into the portal and transferring out? I think that's a safe assumption, yes. The tricky part for those guys is they've already transferred once, so they would need a waiver, an eligibility waiver, which, as the NCAA showed you, they're not giving. Damian McKinley, morning Matt. USC out of the top 25 instead of Washington college football. Taylor Hudson, Wacky Chris, good morning. Thoughts on Billy Lucci's... Let's see. This is Dax Jeter. Morning, Matt. John forgot Jayden beat Oregon as a freshman at Arizona State. It's a clown show take. I mean, that was also 4 years ago. I mean, Bo Nix 4 years ago was a terrible football player. He's gotten much, much better. It's, maybe there might also be a part of that where people in the South remember Bo Nix being bad at Auburn and haven't really paid attention to how much he's developed there. Similarly, there's probably a lot of people who cover the Pac-12 who remember Jayden's last season at Arizona State and haven't actually paid attention to how much he's developed here. It's an interesting paradigm. Mito Ramirez, Trivia Carter, Jeff Hawk, good morning. Antron Hemingway, good morning. Busy short week. If I don't get a chance to say happy Thanksgiving to you and the family, want to go ahead and say happy early Thanksgiving. Busy week. Go Tigers. All right, Antron, thank you for being here, man. I love your positivity, dude. Thank you for being here every day. Gomaha 23. Thankfully, the Heisman criteria is set by the Downtown Athletic Club. It's not the Downtown Athletic Club, so it's the Heisman Trust. The Downtown Athletic Club is where the Heisman used to be presented for years and years and years. And then that changed post 9/11. The Downtown Athletic Club was, as I understand it, closed their doors. So they've moved. And anyway, that's not important. But yeah, the Heisman Trust is who gives out the Heisman Trophy. Biggest John, I missed that part. John Canzano. John Canzano is a statewide radio host in Oregon who used to write for Oregon Live as well. I think he's got his own website now that he writes for. He's a very, very, very well-respected media person in Oregon. Like, he's got a massive show that's... if I were to... I hate to say it this way. I would say it would kind of be akin to like AFR, 3 to 6, syndicated all over the state. He's got a similar thing there. You may not like me, so don't go what and what, but he also was a columnist at Oregon Live, which is their AL.com, so to speak. So he's very well known and well respected. It's not like that's just a schmuck throwing something against the wall. It was just very, very poorly done. But it's 8:05. I got to get going here. Right. Michael Thacker, Charlie Cavell, Justin Little, Megan Hirsch, Jason Horn. We have a legit chance at Bryce Underwood. Nuss is going to be fine. Colin Hurley's coming in this year. Brian Kelly's going to be fine at quarterback. Shane Danos, good morning from the Jamie and Shane Danos from Iowa, Louisiana. Oh, nice. On the anniversary trip in Gatlinburg. That's great, man. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Y'all enjoy. I think I might have told you this, Shane, whenever I saw you. So I met Shane at Don Juan last week for Whiskey and Wine. He came in from Iowa, Louisiana, not Iowa, the state. And his wife, Jamie, loves the show, too. So we appreciate her for watching. She didn't make it in for Whiskey and Wine, but my parents, I think I told you, my parents honeymooned in Gatlinburg. So it's pretty cool. We went a few years ago to the Smokies for our family's summer vacation. And I asked my dad, I was like, what did y'all do? Where'd y'all stay? Where'd y'all go? And he told me like the places where they stayed in Gatlinburg and where they went. So I went to a lot of those places, like the hotel where they stayed at was still there. So I like took a picture out front of it. It was pretty cool. Taylor Johnson, good morning from Youngsville. First time watching live in a while. No carpool this week. Going to Alabama tomorrow with my Bama grad wife and our Auburn grad brothers for Thanksgiving. Oh, God. God bless. Oh, man. All right, two more. Daniel Roof. Matt, how do you feel about quarterback position next season? I think you got to add a transfer. And it's the Ole Miss situation. You had Jackson Dart coming back. You brought in Spencer Sanders. You brought in Walker Howard. You let him compete. Jackson Dart won the job. You have Nuss coming back. You've got Ricky Collins as a redshirt freshman. You'll be bringing in Colin Hurley. You got to bring in a transfer. Same situation as whenever You had Miles Brennan 2 years ago. You had to bring in somebody to compete, and Jayden won the job, and you're better for it. Okay. The Oregon writer dude has a dark, lost heart to discount his own journalistic ethics so brazenly. Everybody cheers for somebody, man. All right, I got to go. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. If you're there on YouTube, please smash that like button. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page. Share the post. Y'all are great. As always, we appreciate our friends at Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. You need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, give us a shout at Hudco. All right, y'all have an awesome day. Blessings to everybody on this Thanksgiving week. I hope it's an awesome week for everybody. If you're traveling, be safe, and be sure to join us. I'll get you LSU Daily up here shortly, and we'll have AFR 3. Peace. I'm out of here.